Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A partly to mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester. Saw some pretty nice sunshine a little bit earlier this morning and some pretty chilly temperatures as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. Over the weekend, picking up some snow, some of you a whole lot more than others. Anywhere from about 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches, up to as much as 5 and 6 inches. Especially over in the tip of Michigan's thumb, where we had some unofficial readings of more than 6 inches of snow on early Sunday morning. Then the cold weather kicked in, not so much over Saturday night or during the day on Sunday, but you could feel during the day yesterday that temperatures were going to be taking a swing to the cooler. And that's exactly what happened. We started off the morning at 0 in Bay City. Midland also looking at some pretty chilly temperatures, but not as cold as what we saw in Mount Pleasant. They were also at 0. Saginaw had early morning low of 2 degrees, and temperatures now beginning to move around just a little bit. Matthew, temperature-wise around here, have we worked ourselves into 20, or are we still kicking around in the teens?
Well, over at the airport, it's cloudy at 18 degrees. Over in Midland, it's also cloudy at 18. Here at Radio Center, we have some flurries at 19 degrees. We have west winds at 8 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.44, and it's steady.
Pressure because of a high pressure system over the northern plains. That's what's drafting all that cold air and pulling it down over the state. Obviously, we're continue to be moderating those temperatures because of the lakes. The lakes right now are roughly overall about a quarter frozen, which is a little bit, should be more than that this time of the year. But given the last couple of years, this is more than what we have seen. Matter of fact, last year on this date, only about 2.5% to 3% of the lakes were covered by ice. As I said, we're a little bit closer to 25%, 24, 25, 23%, depending on some of the statistics that we're seeing. But again, some much colder air filtering over. So the ice formation is still going to continue, and it'll continue over the next several days because we will be running below normal. We should be at 30 for a high and 16 for a low. We're going to struggle to get our way into the teens, but I think by the time the day is all done, we should be looking at about 27 degrees for a high with a mix of some sun and clouds. Low tonight of 15 with clouds increasing. Sun will set this evening at 6 o'clock. Rise tomorrow morning at 7:40. Then tomorrow will be a little bit cooler. 24 is our thought to be high temperature, and drop down to about 10 for a low. I know, a number of locations looking at 0 and 2. The back 40 in Richville, we were at 2 degrees a little bit earlier this morning. And over in Michigan's thumb, we did have a couple of readings that were below 0. It'll be a little bit warmer tomorrow. 10, though, is our projected low temperature. Some of you, some locations right now, we're looking at mid-20s, upper 20s. We're looking at sunshine and clouds. A lot of those readings never really did drop down all that much overnight because there was cloud cover. We had the breaks, and where the clouds did break, that's where the temperatures dropped down like a lead balloon and finished off at about 0. Matter of fact, there were a number of northern cities that never dropped down below 10 last night, again, because of the cloud cover. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. That high pressure will still be over Minnesota. 24 for a high, 10 for a low. We're going to keep our eye on a system. Tomorrow, a system will be affecting the Tennessee Valley. Now, as many of you recall from last week, we were talking about the possibility that if you were going to be doing some traveling and heading to the south, very possibly heading toward either Texas or the Gulf Coast states or Florida, you were going to run into some travel issues as we move through the middle of the week this week. And that is playing out. We are looking for some very heavy snows in the Tennessee Valley and the lower Ohio River Basin. All of that because of a low pressure system, which will be situated over what I call the Four Corners. That's Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado, where those states meet. Perfect square area. That's what you call the Four Corners. And that's where a low pressure system is going to be building as we go through the day tomorrow. It's going to be drafting a lot of very moist, warm air from the Gulf, and it will be pushing it up through the Gulf Coast states and into Tennessee and eventually into Kentucky. And it'll be clashing with the very cold air that we're seeing here and will continue to see for the next several days. That's going to generate very heavy snows along the Ohio River. There will be a number of cities, whether it's central or southern Illinois, the southern third of Indiana, the southern quarter of Ohio, then West Virginia, and running out into the mid-Atlantic states that are going to have some very heavy snows. And by that, I'm talking more than 6 inches of snow in those areas tomorrow and late tomorrow into tomorrow night. That system is going to be moving into and around Kansas City and Missouri as it moves into, let's say, Wednesday morning, Wednesday at noon. We're going to keep our eye on it because I think the system is going to move along, not quickly, but it'll move right along. It's not going to hesitate. It's not going to wiggle. It's going to pretty much straight line head toward Lake Ontario. What that means is Wednesday night, especially after sunset on Wednesday night and during the early morning hours on Thursday, more than likely by 8, 9 o'clock Thursday morning, whatever precipitation that storm generates should be out of Michigan, except for the extreme southeast corner along the Ohio border. Very heavy snow is in the forecast for us and for areas to the north of the Great Lakes Bay region and the south of the Great Lakes Bay region, because that low, as we said, is going to have a lot of moisture base with it, and it will be mingling with the cold air. So what are we looking at for tomorrow? Tomorrow, as I said, we're looking for cloudy, not much activity at all, 24 for a high, 10 for a low. We'll have a northwest wind, so not much going on. Tomorrow night, it'll change a little bit to the northeast as far as the wind direction. But again, very little wind speed, maybe 5-6 miles per hour. That's going to be it. On Wednesday, we're looking for 22 for a high, 15 for a low on Wednesday night. So we're staying on the cold side of this thing. And it's not just the middle 20s. We're down into the teens. So a lot of moisture is going to be filtering back at us as that low moves through, as witnessed by the wind. We're going to have an east breeze about 10, 12 miles per hour during the day on Wednesday. It's not really going to pick up a lot, but it is going to change a little direction coming out of the northeast by Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. As a result, that is the mixture for some relatively heavy snow. So don't be surprised if you do see some forecasts within the next 24 to 36 hours where the forecasters are talking 6 inches or more for the Great Lakes Bay area. If you've got any traveling you've got to do toward the tail end of the week, either plan a little bit ahead or a little bit later, because Thursday morning is going to be a mess as far as any travel goes. Maybe Thursday afternoon, things should be clearing out. But again, this system is going to move through. It's not going to hang around. It'll be out of here by Thursday noon, Thursday afternoon. And then another system will be moving in. That one will affect us more than likely on Saturday, maybe late Friday night or Saturday. We'll just keep our eye on that. because what we have seen now is a little bit more of a shift to the roadway for the pathway for these lows has shifted into a little bit more favorable conditions for snow here in Michigan. We'll just have to keep our eye on it. Record high in this state, 58, set back in 2009. The record low, 21 below zero. And that was set way back in 1912. A year ago, 41 was our high, 32 was our low. And the warmest ever on this date, February the 10th, 2009, 58 was our high, 37 was our low. The coldest ever, 1912, you guessed it, 4 was our high, 21 below zero was our low. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Nutrient Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrient Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrientagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrient Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Ed Raymond and Sons, quality clothing and shoes since 1919. You know, they've got Carhartts, Red Wing shoes and boots, Stormy, Cromer accessories, and a whole lot more. And they are geared for the weather right now. Check them out. They've been celebrating more than 100 years since 2019. So they've been around for a while. At 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. Remember, they're open 7 days. For more, just check them out at edraymond's.com. Say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. And Gary, starting the week off, I saw a little bit of red out there, but have we picked up a little bit in the corn?
Yeah, the corn market is in the green, and the wheat went from the green to the red, and soybeans are just hanging on to a little bit of red here this morning, Terry. So, yeah, markets are pretty much mixed to start the work week with here, you know, as, you know, kind of the basically narrative continues to be tariff talks, weather in South America, you know, so that sort of nature is still pushing the markets one way or the other, so.
And again, the tariff talk continues, so that has to play a role in the markets in general.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep, it definitely does, you know, and it's just a matter of some of these reciprocal tariffs are expected later this week, and, you know, and what products are they going to be applied to and what countries. So all that's got the traders in Chicago a little bit on edge, I guess. And tomorrow, Terry, we got our February WASDE report out. And then on Thursday, we have our CONAB South America report out to get some updated numbers there too. So,
oh, those ought to be pretty interesting. You know, we talk about the tariffs, and I just had to take a quick look. Historic tariffs from Canada that they've hit America with. Milk, Canada had imposed a tariff of 270% on milk. Cheese was 145%. Butter was 298%. Chicken was 238% that Canada had hit us with in the past.
Yeah. So when you start talking 25%, as some of the chatter is, that seems like it's pretty minimal. So.
Yeah, it is. Well, and again, the big story, of course, this morning, as I understand it, was aluminum. They've hit us. They've hit us with a 45% tariff on aluminum and 48% on copper, and they've hit us with a steel tariff of 25%. So, and this was before all of this.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Nope. You're exactly right. And a lot of people don't understand that, at the end of the day. So they're just seeing all the changes in Washington, and it's like a lot of folks are the sky is falling, but at the end of the day, it'll all get ironed out for sure.
I'm
So.
sure it will. So right now on the board, what do you have, Gary?
Yeah, right now let's call cash wheat down 563 on the white, 488 on the red. New crop down 4 at 602 on the white, 517 on the red. Cash corn up 3 at 421. New crop, let's call it up 3 as well at 404. Cash soybeans currently down 2 at 968, and new crop, let's call it down a penny, Terry, at 977.
You have a great day, Gary. Thanks a lot.
Yep, I will. You do the same. Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. A little bit more in depth, ag futures and some of the other related issues. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining us. The Market Report brought to you by Schaefer and Beerline. Everybody qualifies for the employee price discount on all new in-stock 2024 Ram heavy-duty trucks right now at Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, where Family and Service sells cars. And by Thumb Bank. They've got locations all across the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region, and they're ready to help you with whatever you need as we move into the new year. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust, equal opportunity lender, and member FDIC. Doug, good morning.
Good morning.
Here we go again.
It's another day.
Yeah, another week.
Yeah.
Pretty soon February will be gone.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Don't wish your life away. Don't do that. Let's enjoy every day a little bit that we got. I don't know. Well, Ford hit a new low today. Not a big deal. $9.12 a share. Still got a pretty solid dividend to hold that up for now. The family, has a lot of that stock, so they're gonna probably prop it up. Maybe maybe. Kohl's hit a new low today, so they got a huge dividend. That's probably on the chopping block, I'm going to guess, and that might be painful if they do that. So a lot of the food stuff hit a new low today again. ConAgra, B&G Foods, just down the line. Ball Corp, that hit a new low. Now they make aluminum cans, so that's kind of sort of in the food service business. So they're around $50 a share. Oil service, that's all taken off pretty good today, anywhere from 1.5% to 5.5% up. So maybe there's a bottom found there with crude oil going up about $1.50. And precious metals pretty solid today. Gold's up 1.5%, copper's up 2.5%. So maybe the tariffs are playing a little bit of a role in what's going on there. So here's your numbers. The March corn is 491 1/4, up 3 3/4. September corn 470 3/4, up 3 3/4. March soybeans 1048 1/4, down 1 1/4. September soybeans 1055 3/4, down 1 3/4. The March wheat is 578 1/2, down 4 1/4, and September wheat 615 3/4, down 3 1/2. The crude oil is 72.42, up $1.42. Heating oil is 246.10, up 3 cents. Gasoline 210.69, up 1.2 cents. Natural gas is 3.45, up 14 1/4 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.4320 Canadian, up 26 ticks. The dollar buys 151.75 yen, that's up 35 ticks. The euro's at 103.07, down 20 ticks. And the dollar's at 108.24, up 20 ticks. Gold's at $29.3290, up 45.30 an ounce. Silver's $32.70, up 11 cents. Platinum's $10.2890, up 13.40. Copper's at $4.6965, up 10 3/4 cents. So pretty good move there.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, keep us posted, okay?
Yeah, will do.
Talk to you again. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain, your Dairyland seed dealer. They do carry the full line of corn and Enlist soybean seed, proven weed control designed to get you better harvest. Remember, Justin Varner, he's the guy that you should be talking to at Freeland Bean and Grain. Dairyland seed, they've got seed with your name on it from your friends at Freeland Bean and Grain since 1983. Where serving you is their business. Coffee with corn, Yeah, the Michigan Corn Growers Association, they're putting it on again this year. They had one session last week. They're going to have another session coming up on the 18th. They're going to be talking about developing new uses for corn. What's in the pipeline? Sarah McKay, who's National Corn Growers Association spokesperson, is going to be joining everybody for that particular virtual event. So you might want to check it out. Again, Coffee with Corn, a feature of the Michigan Corn Growers Association. If you want to register, you do need to register for them. Just register by going to micorn.org. If you are a livestock producer here in Michigan, there's some very interesting information that Michigan Ag Today is posting for us. Here with that, we have CJ Miller.
Well, if you're a producer of livestock and poultry here in Michigan, you already know about the efforts by animal activists to try and shut you down and hurt you financially. Those activists tried to do that across the U.S. in 2024 using the ballot box.
The interesting part here, the heartwarming part, is that all of agriculture came together and helped fight these initiatives.
And that's Brian Humphreys, CEO of the National Pork Producers Council. He says there were a number of ballot issues last year wanting to eliminate animal agriculture altogether.
A couple of interesting ones. There was a ballot measure in Sonoma County, California, and Denver, Colorado. The one in Sonoma County was going to ban confined animal feeding operations, and 85% of the folks there voted against that, so voted with American farmers. In the state of Colorado and Denver, there was an effort there to ban harvest facilities, and 65% of Denver voters voted with American agriculture to stop that ban. A couple of bright spots over the election where the voters stuck with American agriculture.
He says that activists are seeking to shut down all aspects of animal agriculture.
In Sonoma County, California, it was all livestock. It was any medium CAFOs and larger were going to be banned if this had passed. In Denver, it was to stop any slaughter facilities inside of Denver, and there is only one. It is a lamb processing facility, Superior Meats. And so agriculture came together in a strong way. Folks on the ground run the campaigns, and the other organizations help contribute money and resources as appropriate to help fend these off.
But these animal activists are continuing their efforts, which is why the Animal Agriculture Alliance is working to protect livestock and poultry producers.
Along with us right now from Michigan Sugar Company, we have Kevin Messing. Kevin, good morning. How are you?
Good, Terry. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. Good to see you last week. Producers got some interesting information from the sugar company regarding some payment changes on how things are going to be paid out this year. And it looked like producers, for the most part, not only were very interested, but they seemed to get a pretty good grasp of what was going to happen.
Yeah, our CEO, Neil Junkie, he gave a good overview of the new payment structure and now how it's going to be implemented over the next 3 years. So this 2025 crop year is going to be paid 2/3 on our old system and 1/3 on the new system. And that will continue, gaining 1/3 towards the new system over the next 3 years until it's 100%, in that final year.
So basically, in a couple of sentences, the old system versus the new system, what's the change, Kevin?
Yeah, so that old system was purely paid off of sugar per acre. So that combination of sugar per ton and tons per acre gave you that total number, and that's what you got paid off of. This new system pays the full value of the sugar you produce, as well as the value of those co-products, but then also subtracts out the cost of processing those tons you grow. So if you're a high tonnage grower, for every ton you add to that yield, you also need to increase that sugar per ton to offset that processing cost. But those real high sugar growers, they get a little extra value for those tons, especially if they're not, a 40 plus ton grower. Moderate tons, high sugar are going to pay really well in this new system.
Yeah, and I think the drive, it appears to me anyway, is just getting more sugar.
Yes, that's been the drive, and this is going to definitely push that along. But also, a grower that grows a good crop, high tons, high sugar, they're still going to do well, just as they did in this old system. There's no doubt about that.
Kevin, thanks a lot for sharing. We really appreciate it. And as I said, good to see you. We'll talk to you again next week. All right?
All right. Thank you, Terry.
You bet. Kevin Messing with Michigan Sugar Company. His report brought to you by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil. Owned and operated with over 80 years of experience, integrity, and to keep you moving forward. Farm Service also brought to you today by the folks at High Fidelity Genetics. High quality, high yielding seed at half the price. That's what it is. For more information, you just get a hold of highfidelitygenetics.com or give them a call at 515-434-7333. We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around for that. Now, we conclude our program with a playing of our national anthem brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.